Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Great Scott! There's no crying in baseball!
You better hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
This is where the fun begins.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That's right, we're ranking Mickey 17. Mickey 17 is a 2025 science fiction black comedy film based on the 2022 novel Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton. In the film, an expendable crew member on a mission to colonize an icy planet faces existential challenges after surviving a mission that should have killed him, leading to conflicts with his clone replacement. I was honestly pretty excited for this movie. It felt like a unique idea, which in a world of movies that honestly don't feel that unique anymore, it was refreshing to have an idea that seemed unique and interesting. But honestly, I was fairly disappointed. I don't think I was as disappointed as others, but yeah, I thought it could have been better. Let's get into why with the 10 essential aspects of a movie. First is plot. Does the movie follow a comprehensive story arc and is plausible within the world that has been created? Now, this is the part of the movie that honestly really split me in half. The main plot of this movie, the one that kind of moves the film forward, has to do with Mark Ruffalo as this captain who's bringing this ship of people to a new planet. All the storyline that had to do with that, extremely uninteresting. I did not like that plot line at all. Most of it is because Mark Ruffalo's character is very clearly just supposed to be a character that is Donald Trump. They're just making fun of Donald Trump. He's supposed to be Donald Trump. He's supposed to be this captain that is extremely ignorant and stupid and makes a lot of dumb decisions and is full of himself. I don't care if you want to make a political statement about Donald Trump because you don't like him. I do not care. I don't care if you like him or dislike him, but the character itself had no depth. It was just a stupid character. But the problem was he had to do with a lot of the story. And he moved a lot of the story along. And as the movie went on, he got more and more important. And he's just not a good character. He wasn't interesting. And I don't know if that was the whole point. But I don't care that he was a bad guy. He just wasn't an interesting bad guy at all. And he was a large part of the plot moving forward. Everything that had to do with his character and the planet and the aliens, I did not care. I didn't like it. I was uninterested. I liked everything that had to do with Mickey, the character. Now, there's a lot of small plot lines that get explored throughout the movie, and everything that has to do with Mickey and his personal problems and the problem of having two Mickeys, all of that was extremely interesting, and I liked that a lot. I just wish there was more of it. I wish they didn't focus, especially in the last half, they focused heavily on that bigger plot with Mark Ruffalo's character and the planet and the aliens. I wish they wouldn't have done that, because it was very interesting to watch everything that had to do with Mickey, which is pretty much what the first half of the movie is really about. And they start to go into some of the ethical dilemmas of him getting into the job that he has and whether that's really okay or not. I liked all of that. I just wish they would have done more of it. Second is attraction. Does the movie have an interesting premise with a high entertainment value? I thought the movie was creative at the very least. The story was unique and interesting. I did like the setting, the way things looked. If you like that kind of stuff, if you like a movie that necessarily the plot itself isn't all that interesting, but you just really enjoy things that are set in an interesting setting, then you will like this movie. It does have somewhat of a creative stance and look on it that is fun to watch. If you enjoy political movies, if you enjoy movies that are making fun of politics or just making a statement about real life, then you'll like this movie too, because it very heavily does have that kind of stance on it. It's also very anti-Trump, so if you're anti-Trump, then you'll like this movie as well if that's what you're into watching. Third is theme. What message or truth is a movie trying to convey? This being a political movie of sorts, it definitely had a message or truth to be said about some of our society and how we handle one another. I think there is a huge message about class disparity here, how lower class individuals look upon upper class individuals and upper class people look down on lower class, how we treat each other. There's definitely a message to be taken here. You can definitely look deeper and apply it to real life. There is an ethical question here about Mickey and his job that I think you can pull into real life in some jobs that are close to what Mickey does, but obviously without the dying part and how they are treated and how they are looked at. I thought it was all fairly interesting. I thought the ethical message was a lot more interesting, but that is not really the focus. A lot of the focus of this movie is on some societal issues. Fourth is dialogue. Is there a real feel to the conversations? I thought the dialogue in this movie was written really well. I thought it had a nice flow to it, but it is a comedy, and there's a lot of well-written jokes in this movie. A lot of what makes it funny is the dialogue paired with the situations, but there are definitely a couple characters in here that have some well-written jokes. There's a couple moments that the dialogue is a little weird, but that's honestly because it is a dialogue. So sometimes when the jokes don't really work all that well, it just kind of turns out being weird. But you don't really notice all that much because it is a comedy. It never really gets too serious for you to care that much. And for a movie that is a comedy, it's written well and all the conversations feel very natural. Fifth is acting. Are the characters convincing? Though I may not have liked a couple of characters and some of the plot lines, there is some really good acting in this movie. First and foremost, Robert Pattinson as Mickey. Dude killed it. He makes this movie. He did a really good job. First off, I couldn't believe the way he talked in this movie. If I just heard his voice and did not see that it was him, I would never in a million years guess that that's Robert Pattinson. He just does an awesome job of making you feel like he's playing a character that I've never seen him play. He doesn't make me think about how he is Robert Pattinson. He fully feels like Mickey. That's the sign of a really, really great actor. Especially there's a part in this movie in which he's playing two different personalities. And they feel really good. They feel extremely different. They definitely feel like two different individuals, even though he is playing both of them. I just thought he did a tremendous job. I feel like this movie is really the movie to prove and say how good of an actor he really is, because only the best of the best can really portray characters that do not feel like one another. They feel like completely different individuals. There are a lot of actors that are really good but play the same type of character, and they're just good at that one type and they do it all the time. This is a totally different character that he does a really good job on. I think it's time to put some major respect on his name as a really good actor. Now, I also want to point out Steven Yeun, I think that's his name, as Timo. He kind of plays Robert Pattinson's Mickey's friend. He does a really good job in this movie. He has a side plot in this movie. He's kind of a side character, but whenever he is present, he really steals the show, honestly. I really liked him in this movie. I wanted to see more of his character in the movie. Whenever he is in a scene, I honestly think he is the best one every single time. For some reason, he just does a good job with this character. I think it's kind of a combo of the character being interesting and him just playing that character really well. Now, also, you have Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette as they're a pair, they're a couple in this movie. As Kenneth Marshall, the captain, and I don't even remember what her name is. It's been so long since I watched the movie, Yelfa, whatever. They do a good job of playing characters that you don't like, and they had some really good chemistry. Though I didn't care for the whole character, Mark Ruffalo, I thought he was very bland. He does a good job of sticking to that different personality, really going over the top and being this character. I thought he did a good job with it, even though I may not have liked the character that much. And together, they had some really good chemistry. She did a good job playing off of him, and he played off of her. They really did feel like a unit. You couldn't really use one character without the other. They needed to be together the entire time. I thought they both just did a good job of playing their characters well. 6 is cinematography. Is there a creative use of lighting, setting, and wardrobe to convey emotion? This kind of carried the plot, honestly. You had Mickey's plot, which was very interesting, but then when it wasn't very interesting, when it was focusing on a part of the story they didn't really care about, there's a good amount to look at in this movie, and there's some unique style to the movie. There's some technological application here that's not real, some sci-fi in there that is interesting. It has you thinking about whether that could actually be a real thing, or just how creative it is, how it actually works, the way things actually physically look in the movie. I like the setting of the movie. I thought some of the characters, some of the creatures were interesting looking. They looked very different. I think it's a kind of a time where creativity is kind of hard. There's so much out there, especially with the internet. So to make something that feels unique, I feel like that should be credited. This movie does have a good look to it. As far as emotion goes, there's no real emotion, and most of that has to do with the fact that it is a comedy and it never really takes itself serious enough for you to actually be invested in the characters, to actually care for them. And especially Mickey, you know, kind of comes with the story, but he dies so often that you don't really care when he's kind of in peril. But all the other characters, yeah, they just weren't interesting enough. The movie was never serious enough for you to actually care about them. 7th is editing, and this is all about the pace of the movie. The movie is 2 hours and 17 minutes long. It is way too long. I was so ready for this movie to end. Part of that is the last 30 minutes of this movie goes heavy into that plot line that I did not care about at all. So I was really ready for it to end, and I was just waiting for this stupid plot line to get over with. But besides that, I just don't think this movie had enough substance to warrant being 2 hours and 17 minutes long. I just think they could have made this movie an hour, maybe 50 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, and could have cut out a lot of the stuff that I didn't really care about, because they would have noticed that it just wasn't that important. It would have been nice for this movie to be like 40 minutes shorter. It's way too long. 8th is soundtrack. The soundtrack of this movie is noticeable. Unlike a lot of movies, you do notice it's there, and it complements the movie fairly well, but it's not something I'm going to brag about, but it's there and it does its job and it does it well. 9th is directing. Now, I believe that the director is in charge of the previous 8 aspects. They're the ones that have to put it all together, give it their stamp of approval, and make a really good movie. Now, the director of this movie is Bong Joon-ho, and this is his 8th movie. The 8 films that he's directed so far are Barking Dogs Never Bite, Memories of Murder, The Host, Mother, Snowpiercer, Okja, Parasite, and finally Mickey 17. I have not seen any of his movies outside of Parasite. That's the one movie I have seen. I honestly think that he is a good director. This movie had a lot of great things going for it. It just sucks that the plot was not something I was interested in. It had a political statement, and I just don't really care about movies that make political statement. It's not why I watch movies. I watch movies to get away from life, not talk about life, unless it's just that good of a movie, which this movie isn't that good of a movie. But it does have a lot of great things to it. It's very creative. I think that he has a lot of talent, and he brings a lot to film. It's just this particular movie did not necessarily sit all that well with me. 10th is time. Will it stand the test of time? No, I don't really think so. Like a lot of movies that I reviewed, I don't think they're going to stand the test of time. I don't think this one is unique enough. I don't think it's interesting enough. I don't think it's well done enough for people to remember or really want to watch this movie. I honestly think that if anybody's going to watch this movie again, it is most likely because of the director, not necessarily the movie itself. Now for the review section. Rotten Tomatoes critics gives it a 78. The audience gives it a 73, and IMDb gives it a 70. I think out of all these, I am most on 78. Though there's the one plotline I didn't like, and that is a large part of the movie, there's so many aspects to this movie I did like, and I think they represent film in some good way. I think this movie has some really good acting. It is funny. There's a lot of ways it's fun to look at. There's a lot of ways that it succeeds. It just has that one thing that really doesn't succeed all that well. So I think 78, even personally, is a little low. I think I'm more on like an 82, 83, 84, somewhere around there, low 80s. I think that's where this movie belongs in the perspective of every movie ever. Finally, for the rankings. for the year of 2025 out of 10 total movies on the entertainment side. It is going to be third, just below Dogman and above Den of Thieves 2. Honestly, entertainment has not been that great, especially this year. Last year, I noticed that it wasn't that good, so I feel like this is kind of high for this movie as far as just on a list. It shouldn't be this high on entertainment, but there's just not that many good entertaining movies. I have it above Den of Thieves 2. That's a movie I would not choose to watch again, though it is somewhat interesting. I find the concept of Mickey 17 more interesting. I really liked watching good acting. I really like that there's a lot to look at in that movie, more than Den of Thieves 2. I just think it is a movie that I personally will pull to more because I'm more biased towards cinematography. I really enjoy when a movie has some good cinematography, and I think Robert Pattinson's saving this movie, and that is that his character and some of the dialogue and the comedy of this movie is just better overall than Den of Thieves 2. It's just a better quality movie, and I prefer to watch better quality movies. Now, I do have it below Dogman, and that is just for the package itself. Dogman is just a cleaner movie. It is a kid's movie, so obviously makes it a little more easy to watch, but I think it looks very nice. When it slows down, the movie gets much better. The actors in it did a good job. They really put some effort into some characters that they didn't have to, and it had some emotion in it. So it's just a clean package. It's a fun, nice movie to watch. I would definitely prefer to watch that movie over something like Mickey 17 that has a huge plot line that I really just don't enjoy all that much. Now, cinematically, out of 10 total movies, it is going to be second. Again, below Dogman and above Hard Eyes. Now, I do have it below Dogman. This really is for the fact that it's a cleaner package, but there's an emotional side to Dogman. Surprisingly, wasn't expecting it, but it did a good job of putting some feelings into the story, a story that wasn't all that serious, and they turned it into a serious message that was really well done. I just think it's a nice, pure movie. It's got a good sentiment behind it, where Mickey 17 has a lot of good cinematic aspects to it. It's got some great acting. It is funny. It has a lot of good things to look at. I just don't think it's as clean of a package. It's got a plot problem that I didn't love. It is entirely too long for the story that is being told. I just think there's some problems in Mickey 17, and though it's a little more creative in some aspects, it's not enough to outrank a movie like Dogman. It's just cleaner as a package. Now, I do have it above Hard Eyes. A lot of this is for the tone. Hard Eyes is a good entertainment movie. It's just an entertainment movie that is done well. And it does have some emotion in it, just the romantic side. You're kind of cheering for the romance in the movie a little bit. But I just think Mickey 17 represents film better because it's just creative. It's got a lot of creative aspects to it that outshines Hard Eyes, which is just, it is funny and it does what it's supposed to do, but in the eyes of cinematography as an art form, there's a lot more going on in Mickey 17. The story is more interesting and more gripping, and the cinematography, the way it looks, it just is more interesting and better. I think it represents film better overall. Now, for the decade of the 2020s, out of 46 total movies on the entertainment side, it is going to be 14th, just below The Wild Robot and above Strays. Now, I have it below The Wild Robot. That movie is, again, another movie I kind of watch more for the cinematography aspect of it, but it's also an easier watch. Again, it's another kids movie that, though it was boring at parts, Mickey 17 has that plot line that was extremely boring to me, and I think The Wild Robot's boring aspects are just definitely much less. The Wild Robot also, I think, is a better movie to look at. That's just something I'm going to gravitate to personally. Now, I do have it above Strays. Strays was kind of surprisingly a decent movie, but Mickey 17, again, I'm going to gravitate to that cinematic aspect. There's some acting in there, there's some comedy that I really like, that I prefer over Strays, which is really just a bland entertainment movie, but it does itself fairly well. Now, cinematically, out of 46 total movies, it is going to be 17th, just below Red One and above Mufasa, The Lion King. Now, I have it below Red One. Controversially, I really liked Red One. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it is a good Christmas movie. Felt like a unique Christmas movie. It's got a sweet message. I think Mickey 17 is just really being held back by the tone, that it is a comedy. It never really ever gets serious. There's zero emotion in that movie at all. And that plot line I really just did not like. Red One's just cleaner. It does have moments where it takes itself serious, and it just doesn't have that major plot line that I just don't love at all. I think it represents film better because it's not making that big mistake. Now, I do have it above Mufasa, The Lion King, and that's also a kid's movie, but that is also a movie that had zero emotion, and because they both had zero emotion, I gotta give Mickey 17 for the creativity. Mufasa, The Lion King, I mean, it looks good. It's nice. It's nice to look at. I think Mickey 17 is better. Mickey 17 has actual acting with actors and actresses rather than just voice acting. I think when that's done well, there's something to be credited there. I just think it's a little more creative and unique. Now, all time, out of 60 total movies on the entertainment side, it is going to be 25th, just below The Wild Robot and above Strays. It's there for the exact same reason as before. Cinematically, out of 60 total movies, it is going to be 24th, just below Red One and above Mufasa, The Lion King. It's there for the exact same reasons as before. Okay, that's all I've got for Mickey 17. Dude, these lists, the end of these videos are going to start getting longer and longer. The bigger these lists go, it's going to be so hard having to explain why I put it where above and below every freaking movie that comes across. But if you have seen this movie, let me know what you thought about it. Did you like that plotline, the whole political plotline? Was that interesting to you? I did not love it all that much, but I really enjoyed when you guys comment, so please let me know what you say. It's the whole reason, what you thought. It's the whole reason I made this channel. I wanted to interact with people, get their opinions on movies that I've watched, their opinions on my opinions. Where would you rank it on my list? I'm always interested to know that. I'm waiting for somebody to answer that question. Put it down in the comments. But if you're interested in somebody who does the same format as me, then check out my best friend Bosso Movie Reviews. He actually does TV shows now too, which I think is awesome. Something I will never do. Takes way too much time, but he's got the time on his hands. He's going to do it. He also makes one concise list, which I think some people would probably prefer over my two different lists. But otherwise, comment a movie that you want me to review and I will put it on the list and I will review it. Make sure you subscribe so that you can see when I review your movie. But otherwise, I'm Mr. Majoritarian. Stay classy, San Diego.